Hello everybody, I'm Alicia. Welcome to my Beautiful Nights channel. For this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to make these gorgeous wire wrapped bracelets. And by the way, this project is very easy to do. It's great for beginners, but I have to warn you, these bangles are extremely addictive to make. Like, I have been obsessing over making these. I have made 8 of them so far. I have to make the 9th one for the tutorial to go with this set, but I could totally make a 4th set of these bangles just because they are so much fun to make. And usually when I design jewelry, I'll make something 3 or 4 times and that's it. I don't go back to it, but with this project I just want to keep making these because I'm telling you, they are a lot of fun. So I'm going to talk about the wire with you guys real quick and let you know the different kinds of wires I've used in my experiences and what I found to be the best. So the easiest wire to bend is the aluminum wire, which is what I did with these here. It's very easy to bend because it's soft, but I found that even though I've work hardened all of these bangles, when I open my bangle, do you see how it's not springing open? I actually have to bend it open like this, then put my bangle on, and then I have to close it shut like that. Well, with the other bangles, they turned out better. So this is with the aluminum wire. It's the easiest wire to work with, okay? The second easiest would be the copper wire, and I have to say that the wire that I found the most enjoyable to work with is the copper wire because it is easy to bend, but yet it's strong. So with this one here, when I open it, do you see how it springs open like that? Which is great because when you put it on, you know, you really don't want to bend it like you have to do with these. So these turned out awesome. And my friend Lisa gave me these 2 gemstone chips, and this color mix is a color mix I've never done before, but I really love how they turned out. They're so gorgeous and they just look amazing with the copper wire. So these here are my favorite to make. Now, this wire here is artistic wire, and I found it very annoying to work with because it's very strong wire and it's very springy. So sometimes when I bend it, it wants to bend back to where it was. But because of that, I will say that out of all of the bangles here that I've made, the best finished ones are these here. Because the artistic wire is so hard and springy, when I open it, look at how far this opens. It springs right open. Here, I'll show you on this one here. See the difference there? So this artistic wire is really good stuff. It is just a little bit harder to work with because it's a harder wire. But wow, these turned out really nice. And I love these colors. So pretty. Here is the list of materials you will need for your bangles. Now, you have some different size alternatives for your bangle base wire. You can use a 12 gauge up to an 18 gauge. The wire I use in the aluminum here is a 12 gauge wire, and I found that it looks really nice and chunky. And the other ones here that I made, the base wire, is all 18 gauge. But I am thinking that the best looking wire for this bangle is probably going to be a 16 gauge. But I don't have that on hand, so I used what I had. But it is nice, this project, that I could use so many different size wires as the base and it would look good. So again, you want a 12 gauge up to an 18 gauge wire for your bangle base wire. Now for the wrapping wire, I recommend to do a 20 gauge wire, but also good about this, you do have some size alternatives here. You can use 20 to up to a 24 gauge wire, so you can use 22, 24, whatever you want, but I do recommend the 20 because it is thicker, harder wire. Your bracelet will be more durable. And I almost forgot to tell you guys, but there's this other wire here. It's permanently colored wire. I got this from BENECREAT. It comes in a bunch of different colors. This one here is my favorite. It is antique bronze. It is gorgeous. It also comes in gunmetal and silver, and there might even be more colors now since I've ordered this. But this here, I think this is a copper wire that has the permanent color over top of it. This here I found to be a very good wire, easy to work with, easier than the artistic wire, and plus it comes in different colors. So I'm also going to put links to this wire down there below the video because this is a good wire. I recommend it. And again, it comes in all different sizes. You'll see when you go to the site. You're also going to need gemstone chip beads, and I am using amethyst beads here. I got them from this box. This box I got from BENECREAT at Kingwood. All these gemstone chips, and I've actually been using these so much that I don't have a lot in my box. I have slim pickings right now, so I did go into my stash and get some of my own gemstone chips so I can make these bangles. But yeah, this is a nice box here with some beautiful colors. And again, I will link this below, and you might want to look around their site because they have a lot of different gemstone chips to choose from, different colors. You'll see other things you might like more than what I got here, so make sure you check that out. You're also going to need a Bracelet Mandrel. What am I talking about? This here. This is a Bracelet Mandrel. It's made out of solid wood. I got this from BENECREAT, and what I really love about this is it came with this. This is a nylon hammer. This side's nylon and this side's rubber. I have a nylon hammer that I bought from a local craft store. It has a wooden handle, but it's actually really crappy. It does the job, but I'm not crazy about the handle on it. But this one here is a metal, and it's really nice. I'm loving this hammer. So these here come together in a set. You can buy them separately, but it was more expensive. I think it was. But this was very fair priced, and I love the quality of it. Again, I will have this link below. Now let's say you can't get your hands onto this Bracelet Mandrel, because I've done several videos already using supplies from BENECREAT, and the things sell out like crazy when I do the haul videos. So if you can't get your hands on that, I am thinking that you might be able to use a wooden rolling pin. You have to make sure that it's a thick one though. You can't use a skinny one. It has to be nice and thick, close to the size of your wrist in order to do this, but I'm going to warn you, you will mar your rolling pin. If you look at this, I have some marks here where I was hitting the wire and it left some marks in here. So if you're not worried about that in your rolling pin, you can go ahead and use that. You're also going to need the nylon hammer, which I showed, and again, these come in a set. I will put the link for it below. And if you already have one of them and you need the other, you can look around the set and you'll find them sold separately. You're also going to need nylon jaw pliers, this here. Now if you're doing aluminum wire, you really don't need these. I found that these weren't necessary for the aluminum wire, but for the other wires, you have to have those. You're also going to need flush cutters. These are great. These are turnaround flush cutters. They cut the wire clean, flat. You don't even have to file it. It's not sharp. And you're going to need chain nose pliers, which I actually have 2 pairs of here. This set here has a really small head on it, and I found these perfect for this project. I use these all the time since I got them. It's like my go-to pliers. They have small handles, but it's really the size of this here that just gets into all the places, and they work perfectly. You're also going to need round nose pliers and a ruler, and this is it. And like I said, I will leave links to everything down there below the video and a coupon, so make sure you check that out. Alright, so I took my wire and I'm straightening it out here with my hands. It's very easy to do this with the aluminum wire, but if you're using a different kind of wire, you'll probably have to use the nylon jaw to straighten out your wire, but with aluminum, I don't have to do that, okay? So I straightened out my wire, and I did flush cut the end here of my wire because it was not flush, it was very sharp, so I took the flat side and it went like that, and I just snipped it, and now I have a nice clean flush cut. So what I'm going to do now is measure my wire. So I like to wear an 8-inch bracelet. I can actually wear a 7.5, but I actually prefer it looser on my wrist. So I'm going to measure out 8 inches. Right here's my 8 inches, and I'm going to bend the wire right here at 8 inches. So if you have a smaller wrist, if you wear a 7.5, then you would bend at 7.5. If you have even a smaller wrist than that, you would bend at whatever size you need. But I need an 8, so I'm going to grab with my round nose pliers right here, 8 inches, okay, and I'm going to bend the wire just like this. Okay, now I'm gonna move some things around here so I can come back. Okay, let's see, I have to straighten this out, and now I have to cut at 11 inches, and I love the measurements of this bangle because it is my birthday, 8/11. Very easy for me to remember. Okay, so I have it right here at the end, my bend, sliding this down so you could see. Now I'm going to cut my wire at 11 inches. Now, if you do go shorter, if you go to a 7-inch bracelet, you really only need 3 inches extra to do your loop and wrap. So if you're cutting at 7 inches, you would just add 3 more inches to that on your second wire and cut. So right here is where I'm gonna cut. So right here I am. Super easy to work with this wire, very quick, because you don't have to do so much to it. Okay, this is what I have. Now what I'm going to do is take my round nose pliers, and with the aluminum bracelets here, do you see how I have this shut? That part here of my bracelet, it's closed. I had to do that for the aluminum wire because it is so thick. But on these, I really liked this open loop here. I did it on all of the 18 gauge. See my open loop? I'm not talking about this one, I'm talking about this side. All of them are done like that. So in order to do that, what I did, I'm not going to do it to this one, I'm going to try to explain it. So what I did is I put my pliers in here like this, and I twisted my pliers like this, and it made it bend here. And then I flipped it over, I grabbed it again, and I twisted it, and it made it bend here. And then I went like this, and I pinched it in the middle, and that let me have the little hole at the end. But with this wire, because it is so thick, I have to bend this in half. So I'm taking my pliers, and I'm bending this in half. Okay, I wish I didn't have to do that because I really did like it open. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I have to make sure this is as straight as possible, and it's looking really good for me. Come down here, okay, so there's no gap, they're touching. You want to grab your wire right here, okay, you don't want to go here, you want to be down below this wire right there, okay, and you want to make your bend like this, okay. You don't have to bend it at a 90-degree angle, just a slight angle like that. And then you're going to take and hold it here and bend this wire around. Now here's the thing, you want, if you already have several of these made, and I do, I like to have it the same size, my loop, as the one I've just made. So let's see here. Okay, I'm just going to check and make sure that it's the same. Yep, I did pretty good. It's the same. Okay, now I'm just going to adjust my loop so it looks good. Straighten it out there. Okay, now see how this wire here is resting on the loop? You want this, because if this is short, you can't rest it in there, and then when you wrap this, this wire is going to pop out. So now I'm going to take my chain nose pliers, hold it like this, and then take this wire and wrap it around. Okay, after your first wrap, you do want to take your chain nose and smash this so it like crimps onto your wire there, okay? And then continue wrapping, and I do 4 to 5 wraps. I know it kind of sounds like a lot, but you really do need that wire to secure this second piece in, because I did have one of the bracelets, the wire kept popping out of me, and I don't know why, because none of them did it except for just one. It was only one that was acting up. Okay, so I actually have 4 wraps on this side, 3 on that side. That's fine because my wire is so thick, but with a smaller gauge you will need more. Okay, and I'm just going to, let's see, do I trim this on this side? Yes, I do, because I want that to be my top. So I'm going to open this back up just a little bit and trim it. And by the way, aluminum wire does work hard, and some people say it doesn't, but yes, it does. It doesn't get extremely hard, but it does get harder than it normally is. Okay, now I'm going to close this down. Right now, I'm actually having a hard time bending this. It's tough. Okay. And if you find you have gaps here, just go like this. Okay. Now, I actually like this side to be my top and this to be the back, because you can see this wire going around here. This side the wires look the same. I use this as the top. So now I'm going to come in and trim this little excess wire, and if you can't get a close cut like I did there, you can with the other wire. I don't know if you can really do it with aluminum, but push this up just a little bit very gently. It'll slide up. You can trim it and then slide this back down into place. So all this time I've been making these bangles, I've been putting my wire onto my mandrel and I've been hammering it on my lap, but for filming purposes I'm going to have to do this on my desk, and I have a glass piece on my desk, so I went ahead and I just put a rag here and have another towel underneath my bead mat to soften it so I don't break my glass. So now what I'm going to do is take my wire, and again, which side do I like more? I like this side more. I want this to be on the top, so I'm going to go to the largest size right here. Actually, this is largest, but this is more the size that I wear. And I'm going to bend this around my mandrel. Okay. Now this one bends really nicely around the mandrel. The other wire I did, the copper wire, see how it's exactly the shape I need it to be? The other wire I've used was harder, so after I bent it here, I had to come up, step up to this one and bend the bracelet around this one, and then I had to go around this one, and I was kind of working my way up to like the top of this. So you're probably going to find that you're going to have to do the same thing if you're not using aluminum wire to get your bangle to be this shape, because this just really wants to open up and it fights the curve. So you'll probably have to do that same thing, stepping up, wrapping your bracelet around. So I have my shape now. Okay, very easy to do with aluminum wire. And now what I'm going to do is grab right here with my round nose pliers, and I'm going to curl this, and I like to grab as close as I can to the edge, and the reason why is because if I grab here and bend, this is not going to want to fit through this loop. So the very first one I made, I figured this out, that you want to grab as close as you can to the edge. You might slip off, but it's best to do it this way, and curl your wire up just like this, because it's very little wire that you need to go in here. And because I have an egg shape right now, it's not wanting to go over my loop, so I have to bend this more, but I have to hammer it first. So I'm not going to worry so much about that. I can straighten this out. And do you see how it's actually kind of crooked? That drives me crazy. It does this every time, and I'm guessing it's because this is a tapered round nose here, and I think that's why it's doing it. But you can come in with your chain nose and bend that. Go like this. See how it kind of straightens that out some? I can do some more work there, but I'm going to have to hammer it, so I'm going to hold off on doing that. I'm going to go ahead and put this onto my mandrel. Okay, I'm going to start at the biggest size. And you will find, using different wires, that you will have to go up here and hammer on the smaller ones in order to get your shape just right. Okay, so I'm going to start hammering, and I like to spin this really slowly as I hammer, and try not to hammer right here. I did it a few times and it messed up my mandrel. It still looks okay, but to save you from damaging your mandrel or rolling pin, you want to avoid hammering the coils and also avoid hammering this piece. You're just hammering the two wires that are side by side. Okay, so I do this for about 8 to 10 minutes, just going around, hammering it. I also take off and check to see what shape I have, because it's kind of an egg shape, and I do end up, when I hammer a lot, I come down here to the end and I shape this more into an oval shape because it's more comfortable to wear. So I'm just going to keep hammering this. I'll probably fast forward through it or even cut it off, and I'll get to the point where it's hardened enough and I'll show you what to do next. Alright, so I went and I continued hammering my bangle, and now I have this shape here. It looks weird. I need it to be more of an oval shape, so I'm going to bend this with my hands. You can also use the mandrel to bend this. I like to do it with my hands though, because I could see from this angle what I'm doing. When I'm doing it on the mandrel, I can only see from this angle. I have to take it off a lot. So right here I have this like straight line, so I'm going to use my thumb like this, and I'm going to try and bend this into more of an oval shape. It's already looking better there. And again, use your thumb like this. You want to bend it like this. It's already looking better. And let's see if I can get this on there. Nope, I have to adjust that more. So I'm going to use my round nose, and I'm going to bend it back this way more. Okay, and now I get it to fit. Okay, so it looks like that. And then once I get it to close, I actually like to put my fingers in here, 3 fingers, and I kind of press right here on the top and pull this side some to get more of an oval shape. It looks like I have to go this direction. Oops, it's pulling on that wire there. Okay. Alright, I think it looks good. So I'm now going to go ahead and do my wire wrapping. So I'm going to open this up some. Okay, and I'm going to get my beads ready to do the wrapping. The next thing you want to do is go through your gemstone chip beads. Not all of them are the same size and shape, as you know, and there are some that are not going to work for this, and then there's some that are going to be perfect for this. So I'm going to go through the beads with you and just show you real quick which beads you want to avoid and which beads you want to use. So this gemstone chip here, as you can see, the hole is over here, so there's all this here. So if you can imagine this on here, it's not going to work. It's going to be sticking out way too far, and this here is actually going to break off. Now this one here looks like a good one. The hole's kind of in the center. Okay, you can see the hole there on that side. So this one here is a pretty good one to use. So basically, you're going to want to pick out the chunky gemstone chips. You're going to want to avoid the thin ones. So see this one here? It's very thin. This is not going to work. That's not a good one. This one here is another bad choice, because again, the hole is at the end. This bead here is long, and the hole is over here at the end, so that's not a good choice. This one here looks like another good one. The hole is more in the center. It's a chunky bead, so it's less likely to break. This one here is another good one. This one here is actually a good one. So this here is a longer bead, but the hole is more in the center, and it should wrap really nicely onto this. So you can also take your bangle and put it up there. You can kind of envision what it's going to look like. So that one's a good one. And let's see, is this one a good one? Where's the hole at? You really got to look at the holes in these. This one here is a good one. Okay, it's chunky. The hole's kind of in the middle. You also want to avoid the ones that have the hole that's really close to the edge. So see this one here? It looks like a good one to use, but if you look at the hole, right there's the hole. Let me try to find that in camera. Okay, right there's the hole. Do you see how close it is to the edge of this bead? So this is going to break. That's not going to be a good one to use. And again, you want to avoid using the really thin ones. Look how thin that is. That's going to break. So you're looking for the chunky beads that have a hole that's kind of in the center. You don't want the hole too close to the edge. This one here is actually a good one to use. You can see the hole there is kind of in the middle. This one's really pretty. That's a good one. And this one here is too thin. So you just want to look through them and find some good shapes that will work with your bangle. And I already went ahead and I strung my beads onto my wire. And what I like to do, you don't have to do this, but I like to lay them out in a pattern, because as you can see, like I think this is cornelian, there are all kinds of different shades here, so I like to break up the shades of the beads, especially this one with the amethyst. I have some amethysts that were really light, some were dark in color, and also different sizes. Some were tiny, some were big. So on one of them, I think it was this one, I didn't pay that much attention to it, and these here are more close in shape. Which one was it? I made one. Maybe it was this one. I realized on this side here I have like a bunch of big coral beads and they could have been spread out better. So this is just something that I realized. If you guys want to do that, you can. Okay. Now we're going to do my favorite part, the wrapping. And for this, I like to use these tiny bent chain nose pliers. Because they're so small, they can really get into the tiny areas and crimp down onto my wrap so that my wraps look really nice and clean. And I realize that every time I make a bangle that I need to start it the same way so that all of my bangles look the same, how they're wrapped. So what I mean is, I start wrapping on this side where the coil's at, okay, and I go in this direction, and then I end over here on this side. Now, which side am I starting at when I wrap? Do I start on the left side or the right side? I have been starting on this side so that all of my beads are going in this direction. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my wire now, and I'm going to grab it maybe 1.5 inches down right here, and I'm going to bend the wire like this. Okay, you can see that there. And I'm going to take my bangle, and I need to look at what I've already done. Now, you're doing this for the first time, but once you have 1 or 2 made, you're going to want to look back at what you've already done, so you're making sure you're making them all the same way, especially if you're going to make them as sets. So right here, I started on this side, and this here is going to be my wrapping end because my beads are here. So I see that I need to go like this. Okay, do you see that there? Because this here is the wire that my beads are on, so my beads are going to go at an angle like this. So now I'm going to take this, pull it down like that, and I'm going to take my short tail here and I'm going to wrap this around one time, and then I'm going to take my chain nose and pull that tight. Okay, and then I'm going to continue wrapping, and I think I did this like 4 or 5 times. I wanted this to be very secure. Okay, and I'm going to slide this up some now. Not all the way, because I still have a few more wraps to do. Okay, let's see. Do I need to trim? Yes, I do. So I'm going to trim this about right there in the middle. I hope you could see. Okay, I actually broke the wire off because I cut it in half. But it just wasn't a clean cut, so I need to get a clean cut right there. Okay, right there's my cut. And now I'm going to bend this in, and because I'm using such heavy gauge wire, I can actually bend this little wire in between the 2 big wires there. Okay, folding that down. And let's see. I have 4 here. How many did I do in this one? I have 3 in that one. I did 4 in that one. They're both different. I think I'm going to do 4. Because it's aluminum wire, I'm going to do an extra wrap. Yeah. The blue one I made first, and after it was the very first one I made, and after I did that I realized I should have changed some things. So I could go back and redo it, but it's not bad. Okay, so there we go. We have 4 wraps. I'm going to slide this up close to this coil here. Okay, I'm done with the cutters for now. I'm going to clean up my area, get some things out of my way, because we're going to be doing some wrapping. Okay, here we are. Now, you're going to want to look at your first bead and see how big it is. Mine is pretty small, looking at the hole there, so I see that I could take my chain nose. You're going to want to bend this at an angle. I'm thinking about right here will work. Okay, go like that. And then you slide your bead up or down. Okay, and your bead hits that angle just right. See that? And then you want to wrap your wire around. Now the first few wraps are going to be screwy until you get going with maybe 2 or 3 beads. Okay, and I'm going to wrap the wire around. I'm going to go through the opening here of my bangle. Continue wrapping, making sure that they're close. Going around again. I have 2 wraps right now. I'm going to go around 3 times. 3 seems to be the magic number for this. Okay, there we go. That's what I have right now. So I'm going to pull it up like that. I'm going to stop. Now I'm going to come back. You're constantly going to be using your chain nose pliers. It's why I love these here, because they're small. I can get in here. I'm going to make sure that my first coils there are touching. And then I'm going to come right here to the gaps. Pinch this. It's going to close it up. And then I'm going to pinch this side. Okay. Now I'm going to look at my next bead. How big is it? It's a small bead. So I think I can bend my wire. You're just going to guess. about here. If your bend's not in the right place, you can come back and fix it. Okay, and you also do want to pay attention, like this one here is round, but you want to pay attention and spin this. See how this is a triangle shape? You want to spin this and see, which is going to be the best side, because there's 3 sides in this for the bead to sit. I think this is going to be the best side. So I'm going to hold my bead right here in place, bend this wire down through the gap in my bangle, and then I'm going to wrap my wire around 3 times. 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to slide this up just like this. You can come on the inside, slide the up. Now I just realized that earlier I didn't crimp this down. So I do like to go like this and crimp it, depending on how big your beads are. If your beads are really big and they overlap the other wires, you can't really go back after you've done it and crimp it. But right now I'm using smaller beads, so I can come in here and crimp those wires down. Okay, and now I'm ready for my next bead. And again, you always want to make sure that you check the size of your bead and kind of figure out where you need to make your bend at in your wire. That's probably going to be good there. Slide it down. Find which side you like more. This side's better. Just like that. Then the wire here on the side. And start wrapping. Okay, there's my 3 wraps. I have to come in here, pinch these coils together, pinch them here. Okay, and I'll come in and I'll crimp those coils down like that. I just separated them. Okay, and again, check out the next bead. I'm gonna make my bend in my wire. Slide the bead down and see where I want it to land. I think that's good. Okay, and then wrap again 3 times. Okay, there's my 3 wraps. Again, pinch your coils together on both sides. Flatten your coils. Okay, how big is my next bead? It's a small one, so I can get closer to my bangle right there. Bend the wire, bring the bead down, and again, if your angle's not right, you can fix it. You just slide your bead back down, straighten out the wire, and then move your bend. And the more you do this, the faster you're going to get at it, just like with everything else. Okay, 3 wraps. Come in here, make sure that we slide this wire down. Do both sides. Okay, and then crimp those coils flat. And at the very, very end, when I get all the way down to here, and I trim my wire off all the way down with my last wraps, I do come back and I go like this, and I straighten it all out. I do one side, then I flip over and I do the other side. And that's how they look so tidy and clean, because as you're moving the bangle, the wire does tend to move because you're just flipping it all over the place. Okay, the next bead is a small one, so I'm gonna go ahead, bend it. Let's see, the hole's in the middle of my bead, so I might need to bend it right there. Okay, and flip it around, see which side looks best. Okay, and start wrapping. Okay, there's my 3 wraps. I'm going to crimp these wires together like that. Do this side. And then I'm going to flatten my coils. Okay, and then I have to make my bend. Bring my bead up. Find which side I like more. That looks good. Continue wrapping. Now I did have 2 beads break on me. Only 2 out of the 8 bracelets that I made. As I was starting that point right there, as I slid the bead up and I started wrapping it, before I made the very first wrap, the bead broke. And thank God, because I didn't have to undo my wire and start over. Okay. Crimp those together. Crimp this side. Flatten your coils. Bend the wire. And continue to wrap. So this is pretty simple. I'm going to keep going doing this, and I'll come back and show you how to finish it. It's so much fun. Okay, so as you can see, I kept on going all the way around, and I have room for maybe 1 more bead right here. And I'm actually not crazy about the next bead that I have, so I think I'm going to cut my wire. Maybe, I'm guessing, maybe 6 inches or so to be safe. And I'm going to slide my beads off here and pick which bead I like best for the end. Because it's the end, I do want a smaller bead here, one that's not too big. And let's see, what's this one like? I'm picky. I'll go with this one. It might be just the right size to fill in this gap. Okay, so I have to bend my wire right there, and then slide this bead down. Okay, just like that. Yep, this is my last bead. Okay, and then I'm gonna make my wraps, and I do like 4 to 5 wraps here at the end just to be safe. There's 3. Let's see, should I do 1 more? I'll do 1 more wrap. Okay. Now I'm going to trim my wire and then tuck this wire under. Because this wire is so thick, I can actually cut my wire in the middle and then fold this wire in between my 2 12 gauge wires. See that? I hope you can see that there. So it's not going to poke us. And there we go. And I forgot to crimp these down. Okay, so there we go. So now what I like to do is I like to go back, because I'm kind of a perfectionist, and I go like this, and I make sure that all my coils are together because it makes it look tidy. I go all the way around, and then once I do this side, I flip the bracelet over and I do the other side. Doesn't take long. It just makes it look really nice. This is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and make sure you click the bell button so you get notified when I upload new videos, and like me on Facebook. And don't forget to share pictures of the jewelry you've made from my videos on my Facebook page, and follow me on Pinterest. Thanks for watching.